Jesus! Me. Oh my god! Holy sh! Hey guys, philzeroyt here. Weekly merch giveaway winner. Congrats! Had a lot of coffee today. So a crazy coincidence that happened. Quick story. I was already planning to do a video on this artist, Dimash. Is it Dimash or Dimash? Like, which? I'm going with Dimash. So I've seen his name pop up in the comments a few times, and I've never heard of him, but I was in California last month, just hanging out with some friends at Huntington Beach, and as we were walking, someone just randomly handed me this card telling me to check out this singer. And what do you know? Who do we have here? Come on, focus. Your next rabbit hole. We'll see. I don't know if the people at the pier were like part of his street team or just super loyal fans, but they had like a whole little station set up with like a table and chairs and speakers playing his music, so I guess the universe is nudging me to hurry up and do this video already. So based on your comments, the singer apparently has crazy range. He's a crossover between pop, opera, and rock. You guys are recommending me a lot of classically trained singers lately, which is cool. Whenever I hear about a singer that has both opera and rock mentioned in the same sentence, my mind immediately goes to this distinct sound that I'm fairly familiar with. So let's get it.
Обладатель гран-при международного конкурса исполнителей эстрадной песни «Витебск 2015» Димаш Кудайберген, Казахстан.
Is that Russian?
Je vis pour que je meure, pourquoi je ris, pourquoi je pleure. Voici le SOS d'un rien en détresse. J'ai mûri hier sur terre. Je me prendrai boisson, je serai dans ma peau. Je voudrais voler mon dernier
Whoa, that's
Jeu de
clean.
jour qu'au fond de la vie, avec les ponts dessinés, j'ai comme deux zombies, tu me tapes ma force, je sens quelque chose qui m'attire, voler.
Jesus! Hey, hold up. What in the Asian Adam Lambert? One more time.
Les ponts dessinés, j'ai comme deux zombies, tu me tapes ma force, je sens quelque chose qui m'attire, voler.
Jeez! You guys, you got me. Okay. It's been a while since I've heard vocals like this, and we're not even halfway through. So this style of vocal has a technique called speech-level singing written all over it, which is what I studied. Maybe Dimash wasn't in that specific school of training, but 100% he has a bel canto foundation, and probably a musical theater background. That's my guess anyway, I could be wrong, but there's some little tells that his background is bel canto for sure, like that's a given. But I think I picked up some little musical theater cues as well. So if you're new to this channel, this is where I nerd out. So the first kind of tell of his training background is, let's get a clear shot of him. So look how relaxed this area is. Like, it doesn't matter what note he's singing. I notice he's never tensing or straining his jaw or his neck. And what that shows is he's never reaching for notes. He just has them all in his pocket already. Locked and loaded. We see this kind of thing from some singers. Can I even do it? Stuff like this. This kind of looks gross, I'm sorry. When some singers go for a big note, their neck and their jaw and their face, they tense up. And one of the fundamental lessons of classical technique is that you want everything to stay as neutral as possible. Just chill, just relax. It doesn't help you get the note by doing this, right? Like, if anything, that prevents you from getting the note because you're tightening everything. If you think of when you're at the gym and you're trying to lift something heavy with your arms, like, making faces isn't gonna magically make your arms stronger, and that's kind of the same principle as singing. We're all just kind of naturally programmed to always want to do this for some reason, but one of the first kind of goals of vocal training is to try and break that habit. Because when it comes to singing, that actually does work against you. Versus like in the gym example, you make some faces, who cares? It doesn't matter, right? But when it comes to singing, all that tensing actually does affect your voice output. So where were those musical theater clues?
Avec les ponts dessinés, j'ai comme deux zombies, tu me tapes ma cause, je sens quelque chose qui m'attire.
So right there, you hear how dramatic he sounds with all the little breaths and sighs and all the little colors that he pulls out of his voice. That's why I kind of guessed that he also has a musical theater background. I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but here, listen to the very end of every phrase he sings. See if you can hear that.
Je te jure qu'au fond de la vie, avec les ponts dessinés, j'ai comme deux zombies, tu me tapes ma cause, je sens quelque chose.
You hear that? That little at the end of every line, or that crack or that little cry that he added? That's a very musical theater thing, and especially this next part. So he's gradually leaning more and more into the sound, and in vocal nerd talk, we call this going from brighter to darker. Da-da-da, da-da-da. That's exaggerated, of course, but all these little colors and textures that Dimash is using, that's a very musical theater thing because, like, note-wise, they're the same few notes, right? But it's how he sings it that makes us feel some kind of way. Okay, let's keep it going.
Qui m'attire, voler. Pourquoi je vis? Pourquoi je meurs? Pourquoi je ris? Pourquoi je pleure? J'y crois comme pénitence, quelle était notre mort. J'ai une vie qui est sur terre. C'est je me sens de nouveau, je me
Oh my god!
Dimash Kudaibergen, Казахстан!
Get your
И
flowers,
море
my guy!
поклонников блестящего артиста на славянском базаре. Браво!
Спасибо!
Похоже, сегодня Басков без цветов. Димаш Кудайберген, браво!
Спасибо большое. Разрешите сказать пару слов от всей души. Хочу поблагодарить вас, дорогие зрители, за то, что когда я участвовал на славянском
He's
базаре,
so chill about it too. He's like, no big deal, just another Sunday. Holy sh! I'm gonna need a sec to think about what I'm gonna say. Okay, well, you know I have to nerd out on that belt again. I can't not talk about that in this video.
qui m'attire, qui m'attire, qui m'attire, voler.
So this super condensed belt, this is a very unique register that not many singers can access. The only kind of modern singer I can think of, off the top of my head, who can do this is Adam Lambert. And actually, Adam was also trained in that same speech-level bel canto technique that I'm almost positive Dimash was also trained under. There's a very distinct sound that comes from singers that were trained in that technique. Now that I think of it, Adam was also musical theater trained. So maybe that's why my brain kind of went there with Dimash. Okay, let's nerd out a bit over this belt.
Qui m'attire, qui m'attire, qui m'attire, voler.
So this belt is not the same as what we hear like 99% of the time when a singer hits those high notes. And I'll try not to get too technical, and I'll cut in some examples here, but this belt that Dimash does, this is way, way, way harder than like a falsetto or a disconnected head voice. Or a pulled up chest voice.
To wash away, words can never make me stay.
Or even a strong mix or head voice.
Oh, my head is on fire.
In the night
those are the textures that we normally hear, right? But what Dimash is doing, this is something completely different. Like, I can't stress enough how much bigger the margin of skill required to do this is. Very, very few singers can do this. Now, whenever I talk about this in my other videos, there are always some people going like, that's just their natural voice when they sing, me. But it's not. He's doing it on purpose for that in-your-face effect. And here, you know what? I'm gonna prove it once and for all. So that's an F sharp, but look at the shape of his mouth here. It's very wide and open, right? But listen to this part. It's the same note! But look at the shape of his mouth now. It's way narrower and he's using a lot more air. So obviously that big belt is a vocal flex, but he's also showing that he can hit those notes in multiple voices and textures. Like, that's the real flex. Not just hitting the note, but being able to do it in different ways and with intention. So this proves that he's purposely choosing which voice he wants to use in order to fit the context of what he's singing, and he's not just mindlessly sending it just to hit the note. There's kind of a joke in the singing world, which is falsetto is for the weak, but Dimash is like, cute, falsetto? Never heard of it. Okay. I mean, what else can I say? This is just so awesome to hear. No one sings like this anymore, like especially male singers. What happens a lot when learning bel canto or any classical bass technique, once singers reach a certain level, it's very common for them to abandon the technique to try and find their own sound, right? They'll take what they learned so far and then they'll apply it to whatever it is they want to do, which is what I did, getting into metal and punk rock stuff. And straying from the technique is not necessarily a bad thing, because at the end of the day, if you're happy doing what you're doing, mission accomplished, right? Who cares about technique at that point? But what the trade-off kind of becomes with other styles is that you'll start to pick up some bad habits and techniques in order to get that sound that you want. And by bad, I just mean things that have a higher chance of damaging your voice. I don't mean bad by it sounds bad. Certain styles can sound good, but the technique behind it isn't great for your voice. And vice versa, right? Like, just because you have good technique doesn't mean it's always gonna sound good in every context. But to sing like my man Dimash, he stuck to the technique for a very, very long time without straying from it. Like, my guess is way over 10 years for sure. And he probably takes care of his voice, like, religiously with daily vocal exercises, no drinking, no smoking, always hydrated, and his voice just kept getting stronger and stronger. He never picked up any bad habits. Very unlikely he ever damaged his voice. Actually, I could be wrong on that. Some people heal really well after vocal damage. But this voice, this is the result of years or probably decades of just hard work and trusting the process and patience and just believing in the technique. Maybe some gifted genetics as well, that always helps, but still, genetics can only get you so far. Like, this is persistence. Okay, I'm intrigued. What's Dimash's ethnic background? Because this was kind of trippy. He was singing in French and he kind of looks Asian, but the show's in Russian? Is this Russian? I guess Russia is also technically Asia, too. Oh, he must be from somewhere in that area, like where Russia, China, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan meet. Like that intersection. One of those countries, right? I think. Actually, let's look this up so I don't sound like a complete idiot. Oh, so he's Kazakh. That makes sense. What's that language, though? Is that Russian? Like, I love learning languages, but I'm not familiar with this one.
Благодарность. Приезжайте в Казахстан.
Oh, he says
Спасибо большое.
Kazakhstan. Okay, I'm
Ahmed.
just dumb. I'm so happy I checked this out. Thanks to everyone who suggested this, and thanks to whoever gave me this card at the beach. That was a crazy coincidental little nudge for me to finally get around to doing this video. And if there's something else by Dimash you think I should check out, let me know in the comments. So if you like this kind of video, please consider subscribing. It really does help me out. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.